HIGH. We've been around for about 2 years. Our focus is high-grade gold in North America. Quick overview or summary of what we're about. In our view, if you invest in HighGold, it's an investment that's backstopped by high-value, high-grade, quality resource. We just closed an $18 million financing about 2 weeks ago, which has topped the treasury up to 27 million Canadian. Our asset in Alaska is averaging about 10 grams per ton gold equivalent. It's approaching critical mass. We're focused very much on establishing scale and growing that resource. Concurrent with that, we're exploring the greater property package and had some very good success with our very first drill hole outside of the deposit area. So 4 kilometers to the north, we intersected 6.4 meters of 578 grams per ton gold with some nice silver credits. A lot of assays still to come from that program. We just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. Expect assays to come in over the next couple of months. In addition to Johnson Tract in Alaska, we've got a portfolio of 3 properties in the Timmins camp, Ontario. Very large property portfolio there, anchored by a past producing asset, old small-scale producer, but very, very high grade at 95 grams per ton. We're drilling there right now and expect to be drilling there through Q1 2022. Capitalization structure, we've got about 73 million shares outstanding. Great roster shareholders, blue chip US and Canadian institutions, some well-known mining personalities that have it in their own PAs, Rob McEwen, John Robbins, John Tognetti. Also have a senior gold producer who's been a shareholder since inception. They participated in our Go Public financing. They also contributed $5 million to our last raise that's brought them to 9.9%. It's a senior gold producer, great endorsement of the project and the team. We've got analyst coverage with 2 analysts, Brock Coulter, John with Cormark, and Steven Sook with Stifel. So looking at kind of where we are exactly, so in Alaska, the Johnson Tract project isn't a very accessible part of Alaska. We're just off the shores of Cook Inlet, so not too far from Anchorage and the towns of Kenai and Homer. We've established a starting resource there, a majority of which is in the indicated category, and that's 750,000 ounces gold equivalent at 10.9 grams per ton gold equivalent, and an additional 134,000 ounces in the inferred category. It is polymetallic, so it's gold with copper, zinc, lead, and silver. Gold is the primary driver of value. It's equal to about 50% of the value of the asset. In Ontario, what we've been doing there is we've been assembling a much broader portfolio around the past Croesus mine. So our business plan, we're focused, we think we have the makings of the ideal deposit. We've got exceptional grade, but not just grade. We've got a deposit that's got tremendous width. That generally lends itself to attractive economics. It's a project that should be amenable to high-grade underground mining, so a small footprint. And the property we are exploring is on Native Corporation land. I don't have time to go into the details here, but it's fantastic to have Indigenous support from the beginning of your project. They will actually get revenue from the deposit if it goes into production. Our mandate right now is to establish scale. We're busy with the drill bit, trying to define as many ounces as we can, establish that critical size threshold. So just a little shot of the lay of the land. We'd have to build about 15 miles of road to reach the coast. There's some protected deep water anchorages nearby. Fairly straightforward road building. The property does come with a road and port easement right written into law through a federal act of Congress. It's part and parcel of the Native Corp rights. And you can see here in the south there is where the resource sits. 4 kilometers away to the north is this new discovery. We tagged that with our first hole. Very exciting, incredible grade. We see that if we develop a deposit there, it could easily fit into a common mine processing facility. Looking at the deposit itself, you get a sense here of the scale and size. It's a bit unusual in that it has this, it's one big blob, very thick, true thicknesses of 20 to 50 meters plus. That is what we've been expanding and growing. You can actually access it with lateral development. This is what was looked at historically. So the bottom of the deposit is roughly the same elevation as the valley floor, about 900 meters to 1,000 meters of ramp development at a 2% grade will bring you right into the bottom. So that's attractive from keeping your capex low for developing this, and from a mining cost perspective. You also get into the juiciest parts first. So our plan this year, the yellow stars here denote where we've been drill testing. We've been focused on both converting some of the areas we've defined last year, getting the density required to bring that into resource, as well as stepping out along strike, as well as testing some other nearby targets. This is a 100-meter grid on here, so that's about a 2-kilometer long section. So lots of room to grow. We've had some success. You see here 2 holes we reported to date. One was actually collected from metallurgy and infill, sort of in the very, very lower reaches of the deposit, 56 meters of 18 grams gold, very nice intersection. And then on the sort of down plunge along strike to the northeast, we stepped out about 100 meters and hit 4+ meters of 13 grams gold and nice silver and base metal credit. So it's open, we're growing it. We will update the resource once we get the balance of the assays back from this year's program. We expect to have all those in hopefully by the end of January. So look for some time early spring to see a new resource. We'll have new metallurgical work. We'll have assays coming. Lots coming. Yeah, just touching again on that sort of regional or district scale play of the property. We've always liked this aspect of the property. There's about a 12-kilometer trend. You can fly the length of the property, see GOFs and alteration zones and mineralization. So last year, we spent a bunch of time better understanding those prospects, getting them ready to the drill-ready stage. And as I say, we were very pleased with our first stab, which hit some very commanding grades. And we think it's just the beginning, early days for us as we explore the broader opportunity here. So I'll just switch now to Ontario and our Timmins property. We are, in fact, one of the larger landholders for a junior gold explorer within Timmins. So in this field of view, you've got Timmins West on the far left side of the map, and you've got the Holt Holloway and Ontario-Quebec border on the far right. Over 100 million ounces within this field of view, over 70 million ounces produced in Timmins proper. Very mature mining camp, a very difficult place to get an established land position. This has been assembled over about 10 years, and more recently at Munro Creases on the far east end or right edge of this map, we've done about 12 different deals over the last 2 years, tying up a patchwork of claims that were all staked back at 1910, 1920s, and that kind of era, and have seen very little work since the 30s. That's a really neat opportunity. The nucleus for that consolidation was the Creases mine, which we control. It was in private hands for years. It was incredibly high grade, and we're very excited about getting to work here. What's happened in the last 2 years or the last year and a half is the spotlight's really turned to this part of the Timmins belt. Moneta Porcupine is one of our neighbors. They've amassed about 8.5 million ounces nearby. Closer to home, right on our doorstep, is the Fen Gib deposit. It's 2 million ounces with visibility on 3+. And McEwen Mining's Black Fox operation, which is over 1 million ounces of past production and 1 million or 2 in the future here, is next door to us on the other side. Long story short, there's a lot of gold in this neighborhood. We have a land property package that's seen almost no work since the 30s. We've got some great targets in this environment that we're just now getting after. So we got one drill turning now through till just before Christmas, and then start up again in the new year. And really, in our view, it's pretty low risk. As an investor, you're investing for Johnson, where we've got an established asset. At the same time, you got great optionality of exposure to a grassroots discovery in Ontario. Lots of news flow coming up in the next several months. Lots of holes from Johnson. Got metallurgy, got a resource update, and of course all the drilling in Ontario. And we've got lots of cash. Thanks so much.